sharing something about the Moses story, and mostly because it's a perfect example of what we are living through right now, particularly this middle phase. So the historical piece is there was someone named Moses. Maybe heard the story about the burning bush, and he got this, listened to God, who said, go into Egypt and free the slaves, free the Hebrew slaves. And so Moses went to Egypt, freed the slaves. They came out into the desert or the wilderness, were wandering around there for 40 years, and in the end they entered the promised land. It's a great story. Many movies have been made from this storyline. But we're going to take a metaphysical approach and do two things. See how every aspect of the story is an aspect of ourselves. And secondly, to glean the wisdom that is there for us to use right now in our lives. So first, let's talk about the people that followed Moses out into the desert. Those people represent our thoughts. And so those thoughts and what those people say in the story of Exodus is, I don't like this. I want to go home. What are we going to eat? What are we going to drink? How will we survive in the desert, in this wilderness? How long? I want to go back. Maybe you can relate to some of these thoughts. And then we have the main character, Moses. Moses is also a part of us. It's an aspect of us. We all have a Moses within us. And Moses represents the enlightened leader, the one who can stand strong in the midst of the voices of fear, the one who has faith, acts from faith, the one who tunes into and asks for and aligns himself with that still small voice, listens for it and acts on it. All of those qualities are part of Moses and are also within us. There's so many stories about the 40 years in the wilderness, but I just like to focus on one right now. So the people are out in the desert. They just got out into the desert, and guess what happens? After a few days, they run out of food, and they start to grumble. And this is kind of like a theme in this whole 40 years, is the people grumbling to Moses. And so again, those are these thoughts that we have, saying, I don't like this, I wish it was different, can we go back, that kind of thing. So they're hungry, and they complain to Moses. Well, Moses, being a wise leader, takes it to God, right? We would call that now, we would go inside, we would align ourselves with our divine wisdom. In this story, Moses has a conversation with God. And God tells Moses this. When Moses says, the people are hungry, what should I do? God says, I will rain down bread from heaven for you. The people are to go out each day and gather enough for that day. On the 6th day, they are to gather twice as much so that they can rest on the Sabbath. The next morning, there were thin flakes, like frost, on the desert floor. When the people saw it, they said to Moses, what is this? We've never seen it before. And Moses says to them, it is the bread the Lord has given you to eat. Everyone is to gather only as much as you need for the day, no more. However, this human story is so, beautiful right here in the Bible. However, some of them paid no attention to Moses. They saved some of it for the next day. But in the morning, it was full of maggots. So what can we learn from this story? Every day, every moment, we are surrounded with what is needed to sustain us and nourish us. We are never without. It may not look like what we expected. It may not take the form that we expected. Like the people said, what is this? Right? They'd never seen it before. And Moses said, this is our daily bread. This is how we're going to live. So our good shows up. It's there for us, but perhaps not in a form that we were familiar with. Secondly, when we try to keep something from the past, there's all kinds of ways you can interpret this, but for me, it's like when we try to keep something from the past and think that we're going to use it for today, sometimes we find out it doesn't work. Well, of course it doesn't work because it was in the past, on that day, in that time in our lives for a purpose. And now we are somewhere else. So it's not going to nourish us. It's not going to sustain us. It's not going to feed us. It is of no benefit to us. So that whole idea of some of the people thinking, well, I know, God said that it was going to be there for us every day, but, just in case, I'll save some for tomorrow, and then it's rotten. It's a great metaphor for some of the things that we do. We could be hoarding thoughts or beliefs or attitudes or belongings that are really no longer have any purpose. Yesterday, we got what we needed for yesterday. Today, we have what we need for today. And tomorrow, we will be provided with what we need for that day. And this is where the phrase, give us this day our daily bread, comes from. The third thing we can learn from this story, so one is that we are always surrounded by by what we need. Second is we need to let go of yesterday, of what we thought, would be good for us. Yesterday is not necessarily good for us today. And the third thing is, when we hear that voice of despair or worry, there's no need to push it away. Moses didn't desert the people on the desert. He stayed with them, so he didn't push them away or tell them they had to get out when they started complaining. So when we have those kind of complaining voices within us, we don't need to push them away. All we need to do is turn back to our Moses, right? To our enlightened thinking, to the place where we have access to wisdom and guidance and strength and faith, creativity, ideas, resources. It's a great story and has wonderful wisdom for us today, particularly in these times. These are the things that the people learned when they were out in the desert, in that place of unknowing, in that place of having left something that they, that they knew and have not yet arrived in the promised land. So let's take that into our time of prayer and contemplation.
And that is Reverend Vicki Vanderhorst from British Columbia. We want to thank you, Reverend Vicki, for your wonderful talk, and the videos are amazing. And live streaming, it's all amazing. We can be anywhere in the world at any time on the World Wide Web. So at Unity, we have 5 principles, and we like to go over those during our service every Sunday. The first principle is there is only one power, one presence in our lives and in the universe, and that is God. Our second principle is we are the Christ of God in expression. Our third is thoughts plus feelings equals outcome. And then there is power in affirmative prayer and meditation. And the last principle is we must live the truth we know. And it's at this time that we always take up our love offering during the service. And so I want to invite you, if you are watching our service, to consider making a donation to Unity of Savannah, making a tithe to Unity of Savannah, so that we can continue to operate and spread the love and spread the spirit in our community and in the world. And if you will join me in our declaration here, divine love as me blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. I am grateful. You can go ahead and start playing. So grateful to have Rebecca join us this morning on the piano, with her beautiful voice over there. blessed and multiplied. We are so grateful to know the spiritual laws, to practice the spiritual laws wherever we are, whenever we give. We know that as we give, like right now, as we give, we are receiving. And with that, we are grateful. Well, we sure do miss the kids. I'll tell you what, we miss the kids a lot. Usually about this time they come parading through the crowd, and it's the biggest time of the service. So we want to honor the children now. Maybe you're out there watching online, kids, and if you are, we sure do love you and miss you. And you know, we're going to play your little song for you, because this is the best song we play the whole time. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. And if you want to join in with our children's blessing is God loves you and accepts you just the way you are. I love you and accept you just the way you are. I see the Christ in you. So we sure do miss all you kids, and we're looking forward to seeing you real soon. And next week we are going to have one of my licensed Unity teachers, who was my teacher out at Unity Village many times. Kelly Isola from Unity Village will be speaking to us next week. And Kelly is amazing and dynamic and a wonderful speaker, and she always tells really good jokes. So please join us. Rebecca will be back next week to join me with the piano and the vocals, and we'll have lots of great music. And so we hope you have a wonderful week, and we'll see you back here again next Sunday. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be. With earth as our mother, family all are we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my joyous vow. To take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. The light of God surrounds me. The love of God enfolds me. The power of God protects me. The presence of God watches over me. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well.